Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
Man, I just can't take it anymore. I have to get this off my chest because I am seriously fed up. Sorry for the long rant. I've been living in this townhouse community for 17 years now, and it feels like 17 years of complete nonsense. There are 109 units here, and guess what? The president of the HOA and the management company, same folks the entire time, same guy sitting up there thinking he's in charge of the world, or at least this tiny little section of it. And let me tell you, the dude is old. I'm talking old enough that half the time he's rambling on about things from when he first took over as president, like anyone cares about ancient history. Now, I used to be on the board, but that was a whole mess in itself. I actually thought I could make a difference when I first joined. Imagine that. Fresh-faced, all ready to make the community a better place. Boy, was I wrong. I lasted for a while, got a couple of trees planted here and there, even managed to get a rule change that a lot of folks were complaining about. But that's it. All of it got crushed under the weight of the president and his sidekick, the management company Goon. I swear these two are like some twisted dynamic duo, except there's nothing dynamic about them. Just a whole lot of control and zero care for what anyone else thinks. No input from the rest of the board either, not that it would matter. The board now, it's down to just two people, and one of them doesn't even bother showing up to the meetings. So let me tell you how things got bad, real bad. There's this bad blood between me and the management company Goon. We've had our differences, to put it mildly, but the whole thing kicked off when I called animal control on my neighbor. Now, hear me out. This wasn't just me being petty or anything. Their dogs were off-leash, charging at my dog who was on a leash. It was an actual problem. I didn't even want to file a complaint. I just needed animal control to handle it before something happened. Well, animal control gave them a stern talking to, no ticket or anything. And instead of dealing with their dogs like responsible people, they decided I was now their mortal enemy. Yet calling animal control apparently meant I declared war, and so began the harassment campaign. They complained to management about everything I do, even things I'm not doing. I swear it's like I can't even sneeze without a violation letter showing up in my mailbox. No verification, no investigation, nothing. I'm just automatically guilty of whatever it is they've cooked up this time. It's beyond frustrating. Meanwhile, I can take pictures of their actual violations. Their dogs still off-leash, still running around like they own the place. And what does management say? Worry about yourself and stop harassing your neighbors. That's the response I get. Like I'm the problem here. I'll tell you what though, I avoid these people like the plague. I don't talk to them, don't acknowledge them, don't even look at them. If I could go full invisible mode whenever I leave my house, I would. I've even started taking my dog out at 3:30 in the morning, just to make sure I don't run into them. Can you imagine that? Walking your dog at an hour when most sane people are asleep just so you don't get harassed. It's ridiculous, but I do it. I have to. The rest of the day, I'm peeking out the window like a criminal on the run, making sure the coast is clear before I step out for a quick potty break for my dog. Then it's right back inside. No lingering, no enjoying the outdoors. This is my life now. The worst part is, I've tried talking to the management company about the selective enforcement. I've pointed it out clear as day with actual evidence in hand. I even sent them videos of my neighbors harassing me, videos of their dogs running wild, coming at my dog like they own the whole street. And what did I get in return? Silence, absolute radio silence from management. They don't want to hear it. They don't care. It's like the goon running the show has made up his mind that I'm the enemy, and there's no point even pretending to be impartial anymore. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm 63 years old, disabled, and I just want to live in peace. Is that too much to ask? Apparently it is, because here I am, constantly looking over my shoulder, wondering when the next violation letter will land in my mailbox. Or worse, when my neighbor's dogs are going to get loose and come after me or my dog again. It's like living in a constant state of anxiety, always waiting for the next shoe to drop. I've thought about getting a lawyer, but what would that even do? I can't afford the fees, and even if I could, what would the outcome be? I'd probably just spend a bunch of money only for them to tell me the same thing, just worry about yourself. That's all anyone seems to say anymore. I'm out here trying to keep my dog safe, trying to keep myself safe, and somehow that makes me the bad guy. It doesn't make any sense, but nothing in this place does. I'm just so tired of it. The constant harassment, the selective enforcement, the total lack of accountability from the management company. It's like they're running their own little kingdom here, where they get to make all the rules and decide who's guilty without even checking the facts. And I'm the one who has to live with the consequences day in and day out while they sit back and do whatever the hell they want. I just want to be left alone. I don't want to deal with this nonsense anymore. I don't want to be scared every time I step out my front door. But that's not how it works here. Here, you've got to deal with power-hungry presidents and management company goons with personal vendettas. You've got to live with neighbors who seem to have nothing better to do than make your life miserable. And you've got to put up with violation letters for things you didn't even do while the real problems go ignored. What kind of life is this? What kind of community lets this happen? But then I guess it's not really a community, is it? It's just a collection of people stuck in the same place, trying to survive the chaos caused by a handful of power-tripping individuals who think they're the kings of the castle. And the rest of us, we're just the peasants scrambling to avoid their wrath. I've thought about moving, trust me, I've thought about it a lot. But where would I go? I can't afford to move, and even if I could, what guarantee do I have that the next place won't be just as bad? HOAs are everywhere these days. It's like you can't escape them, no matter where you go. And so I'm stuck here, dealing with the same bullshit, day in and day out, just trying to keep my head down and stay out of trouble. But trouble has a way of finding you in a place like this, especially when you've got neighbors who've decided you're the enemy. And as long as the management company lets their personal biases dictate who gets violation letters and who doesn't, nothing's going to change. It's not about fairness, it's not about rules, it's about who they like and who they don't. And guess where I fall on that scale? So here I am, venting to whoever will listen, because what else can I do? I can't fight the system, not when the system is rigged against me. I just have to keep dodging the letters, avoiding the neighbors, and hoping that one day, somehow, things will get better. But I'm not holding my breath. This place is a nightmare, and it's one I can't seem to wake up from. So where was I? Oh, right. The harassment. You would think after all these years of living here, the one thing I could count on was some kind of peace in my own home. But no, not here. It's like living in some twisted version of reality, where the people running the show have it out for you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I remember this one time, it was just a few months ago. I had barely stepped out the door to take my dog for her usual early morning walk when bam, one of the neighbors' dogs came charging out of their yard. No leash, no supervision, just straight at us like it was on some kind of mission. My heart nearly jumped out of my chest. I tried to pull my dog back, but she was already barking like mad, and the whole situation turned into a chaotic mess. I had no choice but to scoop her up and hurry back inside. All that fear, all that panic, and where were they? Sitting on their porch, watching like nothing was happening. I went inside, locked the door, and just stood there, shaking. I wanted to scream, to march over there and tell them off. But I didn't. What would that even do? More complaints? More harassment? I'd probably just get another violation letter. I've learned by now that there's no point in escalating things. They'll just twist it against me anyway, so I let it go, like I always do. Just add it to the pile of things I've been forced to deal with while they get away with everything. And speaking of violation letters, I swear, these things come out of nowhere. I'll be sitting there minding my own business, and then wham, there's a letter from the management company in my mailbox. You're in violation of blah blah blah, please rectify this immediately. The funny part is, half the time I'm not even doing the thing they say I'm doing. Like once they sent me a letter saying I hadn't mowed my lawn in weeks. Meanwhile, my grass was practically down to the dirt because I'd just mowed it the day before. What kind of nonsense is that? They don't even check, they just assume I'm guilty because my neighbor says so. I've tried explaining that to the management company. I've told them, flat out, hey, you're targeting me, and it's not fair. But do they listen? Of course not. Why would they? They've already decided I'm the problem, and that's all there is to it. They'll keep sending those letters, and I'll keep racking my brain trying to figure out how to prove I'm innocent of whatever imaginary crime they've accused me of this time. And don't even get me started on the times I've tried to get them to do something about my neighbor's actual violations. It's like talking to a brick wall. I sent them photos, videos, everything. Look, I said, here's their dog, off-leash again. Here's their trash overflowing into the street. Here's their fence falling apart. And what do? Nothing, not a word. Not a single acknowledgement that they even received my emails. But if I so much as leave my recycling bin out a minute past pickup time, I'm getting slapped with a fine. The whole thing's just gotten so ridiculous, I'm starting to feel like I'm living in some kind of bad movie. You know, the kind where the villain always wins, and the hero's just stuck dealing with one disaster after another. Except in this case, there's no hero, just me, trying to get by without losing my mind. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's even worth it. Maybe I should just let it all go, stop fighting back and hope they eventually get bored of me. But then, what kind of life is that? Living in fear of what the next complaint will be, constantly watching over my shoulder, making sure I don't step out of line even when I haven't done anything wrong. It's exhausting. And the worst part is, I can't even move. I've thought about it, trust me. Packing up and getting out of here sounds like a dream at this point. But where would I go? Housing isn't exactly affordable these days, not on a fixed income. Plus I've been here so long, moving feels like it would be more hassle than it's worth. But then again, staying here isn't exactly easy either. It's like being stuck between a rock and a hard place. No matter what I do, I lose. Stay here and keep dealing with the harassment, or leave and face the unknown. Neither option feels great, but what choice do I have? And it's not just me. I've talked to a few other neighbors, the ones who've been around a while, and they've noticed it too. The selective enforcement, the way the management company just picks and chooses who to target. One of my neighbors, a sweet older lady, got a violation for having a flower pot that was too close to the walkway. A flower pot of all things. Meanwhile, there are people with broken down cars in their driveways, weeds taller than me growing in their yards, and nothing happens to them. It's infuriating. But what can we do? The president doesn't care. The management company doesn't care. And the rest of the board, they're either too checked out or too scared to say anything. So we're just stuck here, at the mercy of people who've made it clear they don't give a damn about fairness or rules. They're just in it for the power trip, plain and simple. I try not to let it get to me, but it's hard. It's hard when you're doing everything you can to be a good neighbor, to follow the rules, and you're still the one being targeted. It's hard when you're just trying to live your life, and every day feels like a new battle you didn't sign up for. But what can I do? I guess I'll just keep dodging their complaints, avoiding my neighbors, and hoping somehow things will change. Though I'm not holding my breath. At this point, I'd settle for just 1 week of peace. 1 week without a violation letter, without a dog charging at me, without feeling like I'm walking on eggshells every time I step outside. But I know better. I know this is how it's going to be as long as I live here, and that's the worst part of it all. Depending where you live, some states have laws about how HOAs can run. If they're not following those rules, like selectively sending violation letters, you can complain to the state to do an investigation. No lawyer needed, but you might want one. If you're disabled, you're also considered a protected class under the Fair Housing Act, something to look at. With the video evidence you have, contact Animal Control again, this time to file an official complaint. Yes, it will ruffle some feathers, but it will likely alleviate some of the problem. I'm quite sure that your state city HOA has some statute addressing a leash law that is being violated, and if the dogs are extremely aggressive, they could possibly be removed as a threat to safety.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.